I'm talking to Oliver Jones about China and the way in which Chayora is exploiting the opportunity for data centres there. Tell us a little of what you just told the conference.
Well, it's had a great reception here in Chicago, and what is most interesting is the level of interest in the scale and the opportunity that China presents, combined with the lack of awareness, perhaps, of quite how big that opportunity is. China today is undoubtedly the most exciting and biggest data center market that any of us will face in our careers. It's a market of unparalleled scale, growing in IT adoption terms at equal rates, and that means huge opportunity all around. Today in China, around 600 million plus people are connected to the internet, but that's less than 50% of the population of 1.3 billion. And the government is committed in China to ensuring full internet access for everyone in its population in the next 5 years. So that means a growth of over 600 million users alone in China. Today, China represents around 25% of the world's online population, but it will be 1/3, and people have yet to work through what that means in consequential terms for their expansion strategy, for their international strategy, and most importantly, for their China strategy. What we've been focused on is understanding how international companies are considering moving into China, and then translating that through our international and our Chinese combined team members into a solution that sits aligned with the Chinese government's ambitions, but very importantly, in a way that Western and international companies will also find compelling and exciting. So, as an example, we have a number of locations. We're developing between 6 and 8 major data center campuses across China, with 4 of them in planning and under development already. Those sites are huge. They're potentially 300 to 400 megawatts of data center power, IT load, on sites of between 100 and 200 hectares in scale. And these are to be delivered to world-class standards to leapfrog the technology development that we've seen in so many other areas in China.
Right, and they're aimed at Western businesses moving into China because they have to have servers on the ground there.
The challenge in China is exactly that we could address any other world market from here in Chicago by connecting a server under the chair beside us and then linking it to the internet, and we could sell to the Brazilians, to the Russians, to the Italians, to the French, but we cannot sell to the domestic Chinese population. The rules in China, through what is termed the Great Firewall of China, mean that the access is highly regulated within that domain, and only when you have a server on the ground inside the People's Republic, and that incidentally excludes Macau and Hong Kong, are you able to connect effectively and engage in this massive new market. So international organizations have had to think about this in a wholly different way, and many major corporations today are still at the very earliest stages of developing their China strategy. It's been highlighted to many of those companies the scale of the opportunity by, firstly, we saw the Beijing Olympics 7 or 8 years ago now, which reminded people that these are major cities with incredible development and exciting growth plans. But more recently, we've seen the very successful entry of Alibaba onto the international stock markets that reminded people that companies that maybe you haven't heard of don't all just come from California. They can come from other major locations, and many more we're expecting will come out of China and become major players on the global stage. So yes, we're focused on enabling international businesses to get as close as they can to how they develop and operate data centers internationally, but on the ground in China, wholly in keeping with policy and principles that Chinese government has set. But we're also working with major Chinese domestic corporations who have ambitions to have higher standards of resilience, customer service, international design for their data centers. And these two parties will make, we think, very good bedfellows in terms of developing just a new generation of data centers alongside the other very capable providers that are available in China.
Excellent. Can you say anything at all about where the finance is coming from?
We have gone through, so far, we're a very fast growth entrepreneurial business headquartered in Hong Kong. We've gone through 5 rounds of funding so far, and we're just in the final close of a very significant institutional investment with 2 major parties that we expect to announce, we hope, by the end of this year.
Right. Many thanks. That's been very interesting indeed.